Hey guys, how are you doing? Teacher Hafa here. We're back with one more lesson. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you had a nice Mother's Day, right? Hope you could stay with your family and relax together, right? Well, uh, first of all, I'd like you to take a look at the pictures, right? And well, what place is that? Are they from the same country? Are they from different countries? Take a look at the pictures on the screen. If you guessed China, you're correct, right? We're talking a little about China, and what do you know about China? Or what impressions do you have about this country? Or what can you say about this country looking at the pictures? Because you can see a contrast there, right? There's a very modern city on the right, and then there is some traditional building on the left. So, what do you know? What can you say about China? Well, now that we discussed a little about it, well, I forgot what I was going to say, but anyway, now that we discussed a little about China, I'd like you to listen to a radio program that there's a speaker that is a specialist about China, and I'd like you to pay attention to her, of course, and I'd like you to listen to check if the speaker mentions any of the things you imagine or you thought about China. Okay, this is CD1 track 18, and I'm gonna let it will be available with the other. It will be available on Google Drive with the other files for this class. Okay, for this lesson. Don't worry about it. But well, listen to this radio program and check what if the speaker mentions any of the things you thought about China. Okay? Well, this is the first part. The second part is a true, false, or not given exercise about China, right? So you're gonna listen to the same interview again, to the same news program, to the same radio program, and you're gonna write true, false, or not given. Of course, you know me well. We've been together for like a long time, and yeah, I'd like you to correct the false sentences. Okay, only the false ones, because not given, you don't have enough information to correct. So do this. Read the sentences, listen to the radio program one more time, and write true or false. I'm not showing you the answers right now. I'm going to show you the answers in the next video, the same class but next video. Okay, I'm gonna record two videos today. The first one with the lesson and the second one with the answers of exercises we do today. Okay, so try doing that, right? And before you do that, it's always good to have in mind, like, we're learning English, right? I've said that many times before, but we're learning English to communicate with people, right? The point is to communicate. But there will be tests in our lives, right? There will, if you can take if you would like to have a certificate, you have to do a test, right? And an exam. And if you want to do an exam, sorry, you need to know some. You got to develop some strategies, right? And well, this is a listening strategy, right? Since we're listening to a radio interview, and you have to write true, false in a sentence. You have to determine if it's true or false. You gotta listen to specific information, right? And it's always good to pay attention to key parts in the sentences, right? So details are important here. You don't have to understand 100% of the thing, but you have to be able to get to that detail, right? So read sentences 1 to 12. Pay attention to the details of the sentences, right? Remember that those things are always in order, so you're not going to skip from 1 to 5 and go back to 2 and then to 12. It would be like really they would really mess around if they did that with to you. But the point is, so focus on the main parts of the sentences. For example, the first one: China has over 3,000 years of history. Well, China is important, 3,000 is important, history is important for us. Okay, never mind about has over or of. Right? Don't recognize these words. Try to focus on the main points. When I say, for example, number two, China's been a major world economic power of for centuries. What do we need to know? China, major economic power centuries, right? So identify the main words in a sentence. Okay, this will help you with this with long listening tracks. Okay, so try doing this exercise, and then we can continue. Okay. So well, since I'm not showing you the answers right now, let's move on. Now that we know that we're talking about China, would you like to visit China one day? And after listening to this radio program, uh, have you changed your mind about China? Would you like to check what it is nowadays? Well, this is something to discuss. Let's move on, right? Oh, I haven't mentioned that it's page 40 now. It was page 39, now page 40. The point is, there is an active grammar box here, and I'd like you to discuss this with you because here we're discussing articles. Okay? Articles are words that define objects or people or other words or other nouns. Okay? When I say define, is that they prepare the listener to what you're gonna say. Okay? There are definite articles, indefinite articles, and no articles. Well, I always start talking about articles by indefinite articles. I don't know why, I prefer this way. And here it happens that it's the shortest group, so it's easier to discuss. Oh my god, go back and forth. So it's easier to discuss when you have less items. So we use indefinite articles when we're talking about jobs. This is the first thing that comes to mind, right? So I'm a teacher. A teacher. Or I met a girl who was a lawyer. Or my brother is studying to be a vet. So always with jobs, okay? We use a or an with jobs, okay? He's an architect, right? And when we're talking about singular countable nouns for the first time, what do you mean? Well, I'm telling you a story about an apple. An apple. It's the first time I mentioned this apple. So it's with an apple. It's always with the indefinite article, right? Always in singular, always countable nouns, okay? If it's not singular and if it's not a countable noun, you use no article. So when you talk about something that is not singular, something that is not a countable noun, you start with no article, okay? So, for example, I like sugar in my coffee. I like sugar in my coffee. Sugar is uncountable. I can say a sugar. It doesn't make sense. Or when you talk about chocolate, right? I don't know. I like eating chocolate. Eating chocolate, right? Generalization with chocolate is uncountable. Okay? Um, or plurals. Um, well, you can. When oh my god, it's difficult to focus. I'm finding it difficult to focus today. Oh yes. Most cell phones are made in China. Most cell phones. Okay, I'm not talking about a specific one or that specific one. Okay, So most cell phones. So when I'm making generalizations with plural nouns or with uncountable nouns, I use no article. Okay? Another way is like abstract nouns. What is an abstract noun? Money is an abstract noun. You know the concept of money, but it's difficult, right? Love is an abstract noun. So people say love is better. Love is more important than money. Love is more important than money. So no article before love, no article before money. Okay? And we use no article with most names of people and places. I'm Rafael. Um with names of people, with names of places, like I live in Brazil, right? And on and on. So this is when we don't use articles. Right. And when we use definite articles, the list is a little longer, right? So definite articles comes with inventions or species of animals, okay, because they are a close group. So remember when we talked about the invention of the gun in the previous exercise, the true or false one? The gun, okay? It's an invention, right? Or species of animal. The black panda lives in the mountains, the black panda. Okay, I'm talking about the group of that species, not only one, but that group. Okay. Next item in the list is national groups, right? National groups, the Chinese, the British, the American, the Brazilian. Okay. You're not talking about people in general, but I'm specifying that group. Okay. Well, we've previously mentioned nouns. Well, I can tell a story of a dog, okay? And then when I mention that dog again, I have to use the, right? I found a dog on the street. The dog was brown. I found a dog on the street. The dog was brown. So I'm giving an example. Now I'm coming back to that dog. I know which dog we're talking about. That's why it's definite. With superlatives, of course, right? We remember the rule, the most or the adjective est is superlative. So always use definite article. Okay? Well, next item serves like for something that is unique or something that we know there is only one. Okay? Or we know what you're talking about. For example, the moon, right? Since the beginning of times, mankind wanted to travel to the moon. To the moon. There's only one moon orbiting our planet, right? Or um, when I tell you, hey, remember like when you're at school and I ask you, hey, could you close the window? You know which window I'm talking about. There's only one window in our classroom. So you know that you have to close that one. Okay? So it's something we know what we're talking about, or there is only one. Right? The moon, the sun, the earth. Right? With names of places which are plural. Alright. The Philippines. Right? The Maldives. Right? So when it's plural, we have to use the, right? And countries with states, kingdom, and republic in the name. That's why United States, the United Kingdom, the Republic of China, right? And on and on. And of course, with rivers, oceans, seas, and deserts, right? The Amazon River, the Atlantic Ocean, the Red Sea, and the Sahara Desert. So always use the in front of those things, right? So definite, indefinite articles. Well, it's something that we've been studying since we started, but we've been increasing the lists for definite, indefinite, and no articles, right? Well, let's practice a little. So, well, I discussed the active grammar. So the first topic, the first one I'd like you to do is this one, exercise 5. Right? So you're gonna match the things here in the box with the explanation, with the items here in the active grammar section. Okay? Just like here. The gun is here. The gun is here. Okay? Another one, the national groups, the Chinese, as I told you. Okay? So try doing that, right? And then we're gonna correct together after this video. Okay, next the part 2 of this lesson, right? And after doing this, you're gonna do exercise 6. Okay, exercise 6. This one you have to complete the sentences with the, a, an, or no article, right? Simple as that. Okay. Well, once you do that, right? Come back here to check the answers of those, right? Well, before you go, try doing exercise, just a moment. Exercise 3 on page 28. You're gonna, I hate it. I hate this. You're gonna do exercise 3, page 48, right? Put the article in the sentence if necessary. If you need an article, you have to include it. If you don't need it, leave the way it is. Okay? So do it as homework. The answer for this one is coming to you next class. Okay, guys? So do the exercises. Exercise 5 and 6 from page. Oh, wait. My memory is terrible today. Page 40. Right? Page 40. After you finish that, come back here to check everything. Okay, guys? So, see you in a moment.